Well, we did it. We killed God. So, naturally, the only thing to do in this situation is to throw a giant party.
I mean, I can't argue with that. That's pretty solid. This game has pulled some writing bullshit, but that's not one of it.
Unfortunately, the budget has run out, and the voice actors had to be sent home, so...
Oh no. The voice acting. This game is so bland and empty without the voice acting. I'm in despair at the loss of this incredible performance. I don't know how I'm going to live with myself. It's either that or we become one of those YouTube people who, reads everything out in a funny voice. I can't tell if that would be better or worse than what we actually got in the game.
I mean, I'm not sure it could be worse.
I mean, it wouldn't be authentic unless I dug out a tin can from somewhere to talk through while recording it. Okay, what? I'm pretty sure it's our victory because of, the handful of people who, actually got on a plane and killed God.
I mean, it feels extra special telling Callus that he was one of the people who helped make this happen because,
Also, yes, that is also, well, yes, there was at least one thing that Callus made happen. We can say many things of Callus, but not that he didn't make certain things happen. Also, this fucking guy. This guy made something happen.
This guy made a lot of things happen in retrospect.
There was a happening. We're all looking for who did this.
That's right, Melodia is the one who must bear this scar for everything that happened. Melodia is the one.
Yep, I'm sure she'll be fine. But just in case, can someone go in and distill the fundamental essence of therapy? Okay, but seriously though. Mizuti's just maintaining a brand. We've all just gotten kind of used to it. Yeah. Whatever.
I mean, it feels equally on brand for them to have been like, oh, I legitimately didn't even notice the clouds were gone and I could take the mask off.
Yeah, but seriously, Callus, what are you gonna do now? Did anybody think to have plans for after any of this? I guess it makes sense for them not to because of, the ongoing apocalypse. But...
Well, there's one guy who's thought about what's gonna have to happen. Unfortunately, it's the war criminal.
It would be.
One of the war criminals.
Oh yeah, there's kind of been a whole bunch of that lately, hasn't there? Well, I guess there's a bunch of broken stuff and somebody's gotta fix some of that stuff. And I guess some of us are basically in power by default now, so, when you think about it, all of that stuff kind of worked out, didn't it? Then again, we've seen the attempts of actual demons to actually literally try and haunt Liud, so how bad can the metaphorical ones be, really?
I don't know about that one, Callus.
Does Callus get to decide?
Is that one of the perks you get for killing God? Like, you get to pick who the New World leaders are?
I mean, like, someone's got to take over as being God now, so why not?
I mean, like, I'm all for a nice little bout of nepotism, but, like, I don't think Liud is the man you're looking for an international leader.
Now, if you want a capable, qualified war criminal, we've got this one right here. I mean, Savina, not Mayfi. Yeah, sure, why not?
Yeah, so that sounds like a threat.
I mean, is this... We did a lot of comparisons of this game to Tales games for obvious reasons, but, like, do we have that one character who's just so bad at cooking that everything they make turns into a disaster?
I'm pretty sure from what it shows, Savina actually is a decent cook, so...
Yeah.
We thankfully dodged that particular bullet.
Shout out to Rain, who has lemon as an optional ingredient in every single one of her recipes. Well, Callus accidentally raises a good point. What happens to us now? He asks if we're sticking around, and I'm like, do we have a choice?
Zella.
I think we have a bigger problem at the moment. Zella appears to have, dragon jacked us. Although I guess it is technically her dragon, so... Anyway, on a completely different continent, we have somehow managed to get here exactly when she did.
Did the game ever address what's notionally the travel time between all these places?
Not that I'm aware of.
When I learned that you and had found each other, and you had bonded together.
Like, maybe it is only just like a couple minutes between each one. Maybe it is just a short hop.
When we were attacked by the Goldoba on the way to Mira, and we're trapped in another dimension. You gave yourself away then.
So is this going to be the writers showing when they did their foreshadowing?
Save those lost in despair.
Mighty
ocean.
How many scare quotes are in that sentence?
The darkest pit of night.
At least one.
The darkest pit of night. Huh.
Yeah, I'm gonna go at least two, but yes.
That's my nation's prayer. The one I said in Moonguile Forest, where we first met. You know it by heart.
Like, it takes a certain amount of audacity for writers to do this kind of thing.
What are you doing out here?
And depending on how good they are, it can either fall completely flat, or it can actually nail the holy shit, it was right there the whole time, how didn't I notice?
but we had met each other in Seberai before you left for the forest. At that time, I thought you just made a mistake, but it stuck in the back of my mind. It wasn't a mistake. It was a slip of the tongue, Zella. You gave yourself away. You had seen me in Moongal Forest before we met in Seberai. You probably just happened to overhear us talking. Right, Zella?
As for which way this goes,
I am going to go out on a limb and say that you can probably guess which side of the divide this particular set of scenes is going to fall on.
Yeah. The ancient power is buried around here somewhere. You'll help us, won't you? I need your help for this. Here's the plan. I'll be attacked by rock cats and lose consciousness. When I come to, I can say some memories were partially lost from the shock. Not mine, yours. You'll have forgotten all about our plans and continue helping me. You and I are a team.
like, in order to do this kind of thing, the thing that you're harking back to has to A, have actually been seen, and B, it has to be, like, really strikingly obvious in retrospect.
Zap memory for me.
Oh, but you see, this scene, remember, they're literally zapping us so that we forget that this happened. The writers are very clever. They thought of everything. It's okay that these scenes come out of nowhere because we just forgot about them.
I mean, you can do that kind of thing.
Just as this girl belongs to us.
I mean, you're the writers. You can do whatever you want. It's just that when you bring everything together,
Of solitude and suffering.
you've got to stick the landing, otherwise the whole thing just crashes down.
For the world, death and destruction.
Hey, I mean, at least some of this is voice acted, right?
It's true, they did manage to scrape together just a tiny bit of extra change behind the couch.
Last minute emergency crowdfund.
What was that all about?
And, like, why was she even here?
What's going on here? Who are you?
Is everything all right, Your Majesty?
This young man.
None of his injuries are serious. He probably just passed out.
Let us carry him, then, to the nearest village.
I mean, does he even have any injuries? He just got brain zapped and then fell
I
over.
don't want people to know that we were the ones who found him.
As you wish, Your Majesty. Yet, we cannot simply leave him here.
I'm glad you're here. I have a favor to ask you.
Man, after all that, it really was all basically Mimai's fault.
What are you hiding, Zella? Who are you?
I'm just Zella, last of the Ice Queens.
What do you mean, last?
That day, when I first saw you in this forest, it seems like such a long time ago. Did you know that Moonguile Forest had another name? At first, it was called the Moonglade Forest. But, as time passed by, people started using the wrong name. Eventually, the wrong name stuck. Maybe we do that too sometimes. We leave things lying around, things that should have been important to us. We leave them somewhere and just forget about them. Thus, we deceive others, and eventually, even ourselves.
Someone's trying to be really deep here, and I'm not sure who.
1,000 years ago, 5 continents rose to the sky, leaving the land which was damaged by war with the gods. The Icelands also escaped into the sky, with help from the great whale. Wizards gave us the ocean mirror, but there was something else as well.
How many flashbacks are we on?
Is this the 4th one
Yes.
of this video so far? At least 4.
It will be a long and arduous task.
I know.
Anyway, I actually do kind of like this one, at least, because, like,
And live beneath
this
the
whole
ground.
thing
You who chose
has
to
at least...
live
This has
without
actually been foreshadowed. Like, you do a little reading between the lines, you can kind of tell... You kind of know what's
Let
going
us
on with
protect
this
the
one.
ocean,
The rest of it
world,
is
and the people
Lord only
together.
knows.
At the bottom of the earth, beyond the frontiers of ice, until the time when the ravaged earth is at last purged of its taint, when people can finally return to the fertile lands below. Hoping that our children will return to the earth someday.
Yes, our children.
Now, let us begin before the ocean is tainted with the venomous blood of the gods.
I mean, apropos of nothing, that seems like an awfully presumptuous thing to say. You know, we should probably set things up right before the gods bleed all over everything.
Down to seal the ocean, to remove its song from the earth, to halt the never-ending lullaby that has blessed this world forever past.
Cast light upon the darkened earth. Save those lost in despair. O mighty ocean, guide us as we journey through the darkest pit of night.
May time ever fleeting forgive us, we who have forsaken our song and buried our future.
Okay, now the writers are talking.
Anyway, yeah, 1,000 years ago, they just literally took the entire ocean and shoved it in the Ice Queen.
Solid plan.
This is, incidentally,
Callus.
it's kind of hard to tell if you're not paying attention, but every so often when something weird happens to Zella, you hear a bunch of water in the background. That is ostensibly supposed to be foreshadowing.
The Ice Queens of Lazarus
That's incredible.
have done this for generations.
I'm not even mad about that.
Protects the ocean and passes it on to the next queen until the final moment.
Also, I want to say that this was, like, the provenance of one of the legends that we heard from one of the storytellers about the god who swallowed the ocean.
At first, I thought you were sent by the Empire to hunt me down.
Or at least I
But
think
you were
that's how I
attacked
remember
by
that.
Giacomo's men, and I realized you weren't.
I think they said Malpercio drank it and then, like, killed himself because he was an idiot.
But I knew you were enthralled
Because it
by
drowned
some
him or
fearsome
something?
power.
Right, but wasn't the whole deal with that these were all separate legends that all somehow became about Malpercio in the first place?
I wanted to
Like,
see
I remember liking that about it.
I would have done anything I could. You were like me. We were two of a kind. You were different.
That's a lot to read into somebody that you met, like, at the time, you had met all of about 5 minutes ago.
Mysterious light.
Oh, but now that we get to say that she's special and she can just make these bullshit deductions,
Something told me, in the back of my mind,
that's how it
that in
works.
this era, those that can be bonded with a guardian spirit are much different from the others and have lives fraught with sadness.
Anyway, I always thought the most interesting stories are the ones with
Why didn't you tell me?
things getting muddled and confused,
I couldn't tell you
and they're
until
turning
now.
out to be good reason for the things that you're supposed to be relying on being so confused.
What was I supposed to say to you? The long-lost ocean is inside me? Why don't you come with me, and we'll find ourselves an exciting adventure?
Isn't that basically what you did? You know, minus the ocean part, but still.
I shouldn't have said that.
We killed God together.
I'm sorry too. Now that the N Magnus have been released, and the Earth has returned to us, I must fulfill my final duty as Ice Queen of Wazn. Callus, I want you to do it. To release the ocean from inside me.
A line that cannot possibly be
Why
misconstrued.
is that, Shella? What will happen to you?
Also, talk about completely
No.
failing to read between the lines.
I can't. I won't do it.
See, and once again, another occasion arises to compare this game with Tales of Symphonia.
But I can't do it on my own. We have both been bonded with the same guardian spirit. Our hearts can become one. The three of us should be able to release the ocean inside me.
But yeah, isn't there like a more officially ordained method for doing this? Like, I feel like that's something that could have possibly been set up.
I mean, you would think.
Like, the whole basis of this plan.
Thank you for saying so.
Like, considering the extreme length and specificity of, like, the Ice Queen's oath, you would think that they would have a procedure for this.
I am the Ice Queen of Wazn.
I mean, I assume that's why, like, Barnett and them were here, right?
Okay, all right.
Right.
I'll do it. I'll do it. Just promise me this. Don't leave us, Shella. Don't leave me.
I mean, I guess one possible read is that that stuff does all exist, but Zella wants to do it a different way for personal reasons. That's a read.
Cast light upon the darkened earth.
O mighty ocean, guide us as we journey through.
May time, ever fleeting, forgive us.
Once again, I'm disappointed that these cowards on the writing team didn't give us an option to just fuck this up.
Fare thee well, my children. Rest in my heart forever.
Then again, this seems like a pretty good example to break out the only real storytelling technique in all of video games, where there's only actually one thing, it's inevitable and you have to do it. Time to press the button.
Not so fast, kiddies. What do you think you're doing?
Who the fuck are you?
World is mine.
Okay, so I know we just did this whole big emotional thing where Zella resigned herself to die to restore the ocean. But
Even final boss?
I found you, Callus. You
mid-ending final boss reprise. Right. Kind of forgot about him.
I mean, that's understandable. We kind of kicked him into the lava pit, like, I don't know, 20 hours or so ago?
The fuck is this effect? I'm sorry, excuse me? What is happening? Like, this was supposed to be something in particular, and some artist was like, no, fuck you, I'm making this my face, and just did it.
Hey, what is this? My spells? Michelle! Everyone!
You just give up now. Become part of me. You want to live, don't you?
But seriously, what is the basis of this?
Something after we killed his, like, god form in the lava caves? That, and then when Alfard came down to the earth, like, now he's part of the earth? Question mark?
I guess? Well, fuck it. One more extra final boss? We seem to be, afflicted?
Oh, that's because I'm using the skull stuff.
Okay, that's not a plot thing then.
Anyway, yeah, so Geldablame has some very silly animations.
Right. Yeah. I have a point of order to raise. It's been a bunch of cutscenes since, you know, all this time. Like, there's 20-something minutes on this video, there was whatever in the last video after we did this. Like, have we saved? Can we game over here?
Could you? Theoretically? Maybe? I certainly don't know how you would, because this is, I don't know if you've noticed, Geldablame is doing about 300 damage with his combos.
Yeah. I mean, I did wonder about that, but, you know, knowing this game and knowing the depths of spite that have been shown, I wouldn't put it past them for him to eventually bust out some kind of super. Well, that just happened, I guess.
Zella!
Sure, whatever.
I don't know why that fight's there. I genuinely don't.
Queen Zella, you will both be remembered in legends yet to come.
No.
I was gonna say both. I mean, are they implying that they're about to off Callus with her?
That way. Callus, the dream I saw 2 years ago, it wasn't about the end of the world. It was about you. It was you, in the heart of a dark forest, holding someone tight, crying. It was you, Callus.
Great, sure, whatever. Foresaw this exact moment.
To be with you.
So, this whole relationship that Zella and Callus have built up is entirely based on the fact that she had a dream about some guy doing exactly this 2 years ago.
Zella?
Cool. Seems healthy.
Zella!
You know, that's the basis of how every healthy relationship starts.
You'd never leave us. That you'd never leave me.
Someday I hope to find the person who I've dreamt will kill me. Then I too can be truly happy.
Zella.
Right, I was gonna say, isn't something supposed to happen with the ocean at this point, but, I guess that's resolving?
You know, now that we've slammed the islands down into the ground, you know, obviously the next step is torrential downpour. Just flood the whole fucking earth. Don't worry about it.
Does anyone have a plan for the practicalities of this part?
Weird. This rain tastes salty.
Oh, for fuck's sake. But no, seriously, I feel like there's some precedent for this kind of thing going kind of poorly for the inhabitants of, you know, Earth.
And I guess the fact that the ocean has returned means now that everybody loses their wings because... Question mark?
I mean, I guess it's a good thing in retrospect that so many airships were just transparently based off of boats. I mean, man, that's turned out to have been a good call. Anyway, this seems fine.
You know, just a casual tsunami. Don't worry about it.
Probably not gonna cause that many catastrophes. So did Barnett and Co. just leave?
But yeah, they didn't want to ruin this big emotional moment. They just kind of casually let themselves out.
I mean, gotta know when you're not wanted.
Gotta say, you know, we did it. We released the ocean. Our job is done here.
Kind of feeling like a little bit of a third wheel here. Okay, you're now getting sued by Square Enix for stealing the Chocobo sound effect.
Also, that was literally the windfish, so you know.
Oh yeah, that too. It's just infringement o'clock around here. I guess the plan was they wanted to make a big, impactful, emotional, surprising ending full of imagery and themes.
I mean, I will say this, because I am a sucker for a good bittersweet ending, and if nothing else, I do like that particular part of it. Like, I thought that it does not come out of nowhere that the ocean is within the Ice Queen and blah 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 blah.
I mean, there are parts of this that work.
Yeah, I hear them.
There is a plan here that I can respect. It's just that, you know...
It's just surrounded with a lot of other things.
You have heard about the guardian spirits, haven't you?
There's the matter of the landing and the sticking of the landing. You know, the practicalities of the thing.
Unspoken feelings. You don't really need to summon the spirits to this world. they call out to us. So playfully.
And this is where the writers acknowledge the fourth wall.
Two souls in separate worlds.
Playfully, like all of this is some kind of game.
Painful longing. Two souls that call out to each other. Two souls that seem alike.
How does it feel to be compared to Callus, Fiddle?
Not great.
That spirit seems to like you. If you could bond with it, something wonderful may happen to you. Are you ready?
Like is one interpretation. It's really more of a morbid curiosity to see where all of this was going.
Hello? May I ask your name?
They're really making us do this again.
So that's your name.
Oh no, that was just in the game.
Not
That
bad.
they pulled a Nier on that one.
My name is Callus. We're a team now, you and I.
Why though?
Well, hang in there for me, okay?
Like, Nier had a white-hot clarity of purpose with which it did this video game shit and later rubbed it in your face. What the fuck was the point of that?
Oh yeah, by the way, we didn't summon you here that night. It was you who called out to us. What were you looking for? What brought you to this world?
Well, not this. I can sure as shit tell you that, Callus.
Following your heart?
I mean, I just thought the time was right to sink 80 hours into a JRPG. Sometimes I get that mood. That's how I winded up playing Infinite Undiscovery.
I bet you'll find it in your world. Someday. Right? As long as you don't give up. This is where we first met. Let's say goodbye here. I'm so glad I got to travel around with you. Thanks for everything. Goodbye.
You know, I appreciate that they dragged together all of these very important characters to our big farewell scene. Like, Key and Reblis.
Like, how many of these people even know who the hell we are? Or even, like, know that we exist?
It's probably single digits. Probably single hand.
You're gone, aren't you? I can't hear your voice anymore.
Unfortunately, you'll always be stuck with somebody looking for completionism.
Kalas! Look! Look at this!
Whoa! What are you doing? Is this Shella's pendant?
We found it on the beach. You can hear Shella's voice in it.
And you thought he wasn't coming back.
I dare to hope.
Try this!
I just think they could have got the timing a bit better.
Oh, mighty ocean, guide us. May time, ever fleeting, forget us.
That seems inconvenient.
Ah, see, it turns out that the last tiny bit of the ocean was in Callus's ear the whole time.
I'm home.
I mean, that makes sense. Have you ever been swimming?
Shella?
That just happens.
Shella!
That's not even the ocean, that's just water.
It's me. No ghost.
Shella!
wow, it's a good thing that what's-his-name, the
I
stupid
promised
kid,
you
found that pendant
that I
and
wouldn't leave
bought
you.
it to us rather than just selling it to someone.
Yeah,
That's real fortunate.
you're right.
Otherwise, this could have gone
I owed
badly
you
awry.
and friends. The great whale. When the ocean
I'm imagining like some pawn shop, just like all of a sudden having a big flood,
and put me together
and
again.
you know he comes back the next day and is like, "Who are you? Why are you in my shop?"
Callus, it's okay. I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah. I know.
And all told, this has been a weird day for
I'm glad
Callus.
I made it back in time. I really wanted to thank you and say goodbye.
Nah, unfortunately, we're already
The
gone.
earth and the ocean have returned. We'll always be close. Thank you. And goodbye. I'll never forget you. Ever.
So what's the 4-4 breaking in universe justification for doing a New Game Plus or something? Does this game have one of those?
It does not, as far as I know.
Yeah, probably for the best.
Well, so long.
Otherwise they'd have had to try and acknowledge it somehow. And I feel like that would have gone very poorly.
Thank you for everything. We have lost a great deal, but you taught us to believe in ourselves.
Is that what we
Gave us
taught
the
you,
courage to go
Liud?
on. Farewell.
I mean, maybe that's what he ended up learning.
Visiting your world someday. We be having extraordinary adventure, the great Mizuti and you. Wonderful, marvelous, fantastic.
Mission accomplished.
Given the game
Operation
player
Success.
world subtext, that is a very creepy statement.
You have my thanks.
God, imagine like going out to get your mail one day and finding Mizuti standing there.
Yeah.
Well, standing, in as much as Mizuti stands anywhere.
Also, who invited Folon and what's her name? So they're gonna do the TV turning off effect, right? No?
They should have. They should have, and they didn't.
They absolutely should have.
Anyway, wow, gotta say, bold move to open the credits with the voice actors.
Yep. Those absolutely are the people who I most credit with any part of this being in any way memorable, so, I mean, the performances could have been, like, moderate to good sometimes, but this guy, recording engineer, you are fired. That guy, disappearing off the top of the screen like he thinks he's gonna get away with this. That guy has something to answer for.
Well, okay, I mean, yeah, there it is. That's Baten Kaitos.
I mean, you say that's it. Like, you know, you can just look at it and see the whole thing and really grasp the enormity of what the fuck any of it even was. Like, you can't just summarize this thing.
I mean, I enjoy this game a lot. I enjoy its convoluted, stupid-ass card system. I like most of the plot twists. Not all of them, but I at least like where the story goes for the most part. And the soundtrack is very good. It's very, very good.
I mean, it's the standard Sakuraba, not Tails kind of a deal, isn't it? Like, isn't that the thing that everyone says about Sakuraba, and I've never yet seen it proven wrong, so I'm just gonna go along and believe that.
I mean, I would argue that Eternal Sonata is a big example of a not Tails game that absolutely got the half-ass treatment, but that's neither here nor there.
But like, yeah, I love the idea of a weird JRPG with a weird card-based battle system, and like, I can even kind of see some of the stuff that this one was going for. It's just that, you know, there's the entire rest of the game to consider. Like, maybe if I'd somehow blundered into this in 2003, I might have had a different impression of it, but these days I'm like, the whole thing's got to work together. Like, 2003 more thought that Tales of Symphonia was incredibly good stuff, and, well, that turned around.
I feel like if this game was made today, a lot of the weird shit in it would have been ironed out into something much more playable.
Yeah, I can see that.
Like, that's not to say that I think it's bad, but there are definitely a lot of really weird things that desperately needed to be cleaned up.
I kind of lost track of what Tri-Ace is doing lately. Or like, even to what extent is Tri-Crescendo actually a thing, or is that just a brand name that they use when they do certain things? In either case...
I was say, Tri-Crescendo, I believe, was... They're an audio house under Namco.
Like, in either case, I know, you know, I broadly know roughly what Tales has been doing in recent years. And I know that some parts of Tri-Ace have been doing some stuff. But, like, I have no idea how I'd even go about tracking what these guys got up to after Eternal Sonata, I guess. I guess that's what they moved on to right after this. But,
Let's say, well, after this came Origins. Baten Kaitos Origins would have been the next game this team made. After that, yeah, probably. Well, after that, I think is the point at which the split happened and Monolith Soft was sold to Nintendo. So that would have probably been the big, Eternal Sonata is probably the big branching point there.
Wow, do you know what that means? That means some people who worked on this game probably worked on Breath of the Wild.
Probably.
God damn. On the other hand, a bunch of them also probably then worked on the Xenoblades. Which,
You know, I'm not gonna lie. There's a pretty solid through line between, like, this game and, like, Xenoblade 2. Like, there's a lot of DNA in there.
So yeah, with all of that stuff in mind, we can see what some of those people think about making video games these days. And we can try and infer which of them would have cut what stuff from this game and how it might have turned, like... It's the JRPG standard stuff. It's the running around the field screens. It's the interminable things that you have to do in between the actual bits of the game that you're playing. It's the JRPG engine that doesn't quite work with the stuff that you need to do. Maybe this kind of thing could have worked. All I really have right now is that this game had it had some notions, and some of those notions were interesting. And there was a call for an execution of these notions, and I think there was an attempt. As for whether or not I can respect it, I'm gonna need some time to figure that out.
Right. Well, you will have plenty of time to do that.
Last chance to do the static thing, by the way.
No, you're gonna be disappointed.
Shit.
But yeah, this has been Baten Kaitos. Thank you for watching, everybody, and we will see you next time. Whatever that is.